Good morning, Ms. Grabow. If you would please make your way to the witness stand. When you get there, please remain standing and raise your right hand, and there is a step up when you get there. My clerk, Teresa, will swear you in.
Do you solemnly swear that the testimony you're about to give shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, I do.
Thank you. Please be seated. First thing I will have you do is to state your first and last names for the record and spell each.
My first name is Kelly, K-E-L-L-Y, last name Grabow, G-R-A-B-O-W.
Thank you. Go ahead, your witness.
Thank you. Ms. Grabow, what do you do for a living?
I work at Burst Logistics as an inventory control specialist.
How long have you worked at Burris Logistics?
I had just started last year in September. It's their first year here.
Is testifying in court something that you do frequently with Burris Logistics?
No.
Are you a little bit nervous today?
Yes.
I want to ask you about Sunday afternoon, November 21st of 2021, okay?
Okay.
Did you take part in the Waukesha Christmas parade that day?
Yes.
Were you a spectator or a participant? Why were you there?
I was walking with Burst Logistics, my daughter and I.
What's your daughter's name?
Adelia
And her last name?
Mathioli.
How long is Adelia? Excuse me, how old is Adelia?
She's 10 now. She was 9 at the time.
Okay. She was walking with you with Burris Logistics?
Yes.
Do you remember?
Please, hold on. Could you please spell her name for us, please?
A-D-E-L-I-A. Last name is Mathioli, M-A-F-F-I-O-L-I.
Thank you so much. Sorry for the interruption.
That's okay. Thank you, Judge. Do you remember where your group was positioned in the parade in terms of who was behind you and who was in front of you?
Yes, we were directly between Waukesha Blazers and Waukesha South Marching Band.
Okay, so which of those two were behind you?
Waukesha South Band was behind us.
Gotcha. What were you wearing that day?
My daughter was dressed up as Cindy Lou Who, and I was wearing my F dress with candy cane leggings.
Did the parade go smoothly?
No,
Why not?
we were struck by a vehicle.
Can you describe how that happened for us?
While we were walking through, my daughter came walking over by me, and she went to go get more candy to go hand out to the kids. So she walked over, grabbed candy, and as she was walking off to the side, I noticed there was a difference in the sound behind us than what I was hearing throughout. So right as she walked off to the side and I seen she walked to the side, I turned. I don't know if I turned fully or just in my head. And as I turned, all I seen was the hood of the red vehicle, and I hit the red vehicle and rolled down to the side and landed directly between the Burris Logistics float and the red vehicle, and I seen the tire go directly in front of my face.
Okay. So the Burris Logistics float that you just described, what was that?
There was a black truck pulling it. We had I believe there was a snowman in the back of the black truck, and then we had the Grinch in the float.
Which side of the truck were you on when you were struck?
Of the Burris, or?
Burris truck.
I was on the driver's side of the Burris.
Okay. Where was Adelia?
Adelia, when she grabbed the candy and walked off to the side, I thought she was over by the sidewalk when I spun to look.
And what did you see when you spun?
The red hood of the vehicle.
When did you next see Adelia?
After I realized what just happened, I jumped up and took off running to go find her. And I seen her in the middle of the road, which I don't know how she got to that position from where I seen her last, but she was lying in the middle of the road. And there were some people around her trying to help her. Her shoes were down the road, as well as her glasses.
Your Honor, Exhibit 22 has previously been received and published. I'd ask to publish that again for this witness.
Permission granted.
And then, I'm sorry, maybe I wasn't clear. The jury as well. Yep, there we go. Do you see the screen in front of you?
Yes, it's a float.
All right. We are going to play with audio at normal speed from the beginning until about the 26-second mark. And we paused at 27 seconds. Ms. Grabow, did you see yourself in that video?
Yes, I did.
What about Adelia? Did you see her?
With the amount of people, I did not directly see her.
Okay, let's go back to the beginning and turn the audio off. And let's go at about 50% speed.
Objection was the relevance of showing the video to us.
Overruled.
Grounds.
It's relevant.
Grounds.
And we'll play from the beginning. And let's pause right there. At 3 seconds. Do you see yourself at this 3-second mark?
Yes, I do.
Just tell us where you are in the screen.
We're directly in front of the black shirt band banner. Adelia is wearing a red cape shawl with checkered, black and white checkered leggings. It was really cold and windy that day. And then I have the candy cane dress on with my jacket and a hat and candy cane leggings.
And what does it appear at this moment that you're doing with Adelia?
Giving her more candy.
And let's resume. Pause. We paused at the 19-second mark. Do you see yourself in the video at this point?
Yes, I'm lying directly between the truck to both of the vehicles.
The screen in front of you is a touch screen. Would you mind circling yourself? Your Honor, I'd ask to to save the screen of 22 and mark it as 22. I think we're on
22 is a screen. B?
Yeah. Okay, so then 22B, this would be marked as, and I'd move that into evidence.
The screen will be captured with the annotation. It will be marked as 22B, and it will be received.
And let's resume at that point. Pause. And we've paused at 24, and we can take that screen down now. What did we see you doing at the end of the video there?
I was lying between the vehicles.
Did you get up at some point?
Yes,
Okay, and then
ran directly to my daughter.
what injuries, if any, did you sustain as a result of being struck by that SUV?
I think there's ligament damage in my knee as well as my hand. I did have some bruising and some road rash on my knees.
Were you treated at a medical facility
Waukesha Memorial Hospital.
the night of the incident?
It was way later. I went in because I rode in the ambulance with my daughter. I refused to go anywhere else besides staying with her the entire time. So I stayed with her. We rode 2 children's. In the ambulance, they did check me in the ambulance and see that I was stable and okay to do what I was doing. So I stayed with my daughter. at Children's Hospital, and I did not want to leave her until I knew she was at home in bed safe.
What injuries, if any, did Adelia sustain?
Massive bruising all up and down her back. She had a broken hand, road rash all on her face.
All the questions I have. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Do we cross for this witness?
Yes. Before you were struck by the vehicle, you said that you heard changes in sound to the parade. That was the people marching in the parade in the back of you, right?
Yes.
Do you recall what the sounds were that you heard?
It was just a change in the tone behind me. It wasn't the Jubilee sound that we were hearing throughout the parade. You could tell something was happening behind us.
Did it seem to get louder?
Yeah,
Was it already pretty noisy with the parade going on?
it was noisy.
And you stated that it was really windy and cold that evening.
Yes, very.
Would it be any reason why you wouldn't be able to hear everything going on behind you?
No, I wouldn't say I wouldn't be able to hear everything behind us, because I heard the change in the sound of the band, so obviously I could hear what was going on directly behind me.
The vehicle that struck you, do you recall seeing a driver?
No, I've seen the red hood of the vehicle. That's all I've seen.
So you didn't see the driver or anybody in the vehicle?
No, again, I just seen the red hood as it ran into me.
No license plates or?
No.
You recall how fast the vehicle might have been traveling when you were struck?
It had to been going a decent speed. As I said before, I did see the rear tire going past my face, and it all happened extremely fast.
So you don't recall?
With the chaos that was going around that day, no, I do not remember exactly.
And you stated that after you were struck, you got up and ran to your daughter, correct?
Yes,
And you were able to do that with your leg injury?
yes. I guess that would be the adrenaline going through your body at that moment in time. It did give me the strength to run to my daughter.
So when was it that you knew that you had did you say knee injury?
Yes, knee and hand.
When did that pain in your leg set in?
It was immediately.
But you were still able to get up and run?
Yeah.
Do you recall how long before you received medical treatment?
We were there for quite a while. I think we were one of the last ones to leave in the ambulance as I sat with my daughter at Children's Hospital. After I got her home, where I knew she was safe and secure, I then went, my sister took me to Waukesha Memorial Hospital at, I would guesstimate that was probably around 2 in the morning, right around there, after I knew my daughter was safe.
So it's fair to say that you waited a little bit before you tended to yourself?
I attended to my daughter prior to myself to make sure my daughter was safe, yes.
Do you recall how long you were treated?
I'd probably say about 2 hours I was at the hospital.
Did they give you any pain medication or?
I was taking ibuprofen and Tylenol. That is it.
Do you recall what time you arrived at the parade?
Well, since we were walking with the parade, we had to be there early. We staged probably around 3, I would say, I think it was.
And were you able to see what the vehicle did after you were struck?
No, my only attention at that point in time was to find my daughter and attend to my daughter.
So you didn't see what, the route that the vehicle traveled or anything after that?
I seen the aftermath after it went through. That was it.
Do you recall how long you were marching in the parade before you were struck?
I do not recall how long we were there.
Were you near any cross streets or intersections?
I don't know the name of the intersection, but yes, there was. I know we're right by Basco's. There's a little walkway that takes you down to the river, or there's a little tiny side street off to the side.
Do you recall if they were barricaded?
I do not recall.
Do you recall if any law enforcement may have been standing by those intersections?
Do not recall.
Do you recall any reports coming over any radios by law enforcement?
I do not recall that. The only thing I heard after we were hit was shots fired.
So you did hear shots fired. Did that
I
come
don't know
from?
if it was directly from a cop or if it was people running.
Did you hear the shots?
I did not.
So after you were struck, it would be fair to say that it got louder than what it was before.
After, in the middle of the complete chaos, yes.
With all the noise and chaos going on, do you think it would have been hard for you to hear a horn honking?
I did not hear a horn.
Would it have been hard? The question was, would it have been hard for you to hear it?
Before it got to us or after?
After it became chaotic.
I was not listening for a horn after we had already been hit by the vehicle.
So it would be fair to say you wouldn't be able to recall.
I would not be able to recall that.
Did you file any claim in this incident?
What do you mean by claim?
Did you file a report as an injured party in this matter?
Yes.
So it would be fair to say that you identify yourself as an injured party?
I was injured by the circumstances that day, yes.
Do you recall the officer that you reported your claim with?
I do not recall.
Have you seen or read a complaint in this matter?
What do you mean by that?
Have you seen a written complaint or read written complaint in this matter?
Objection.
Grounds.
Mr. Brooks, are you referring to the criminal complaint in this case or something else?
I'm referring to something else, the complaint.
Well, then I'll sustain the objection as to the form of the question. It's vague.
May I respectfully ask on what grounds, Your Honor?
It's vague. Next question, or rephrase.
Do you know of any complaint being filed in this matter?
Objection.
Grounds.
Sustained.
Grounds.
As to the form of the question.
Were you aware that it may be possible that you could give testimony in this matter?
Yes, I was aware of that.
Did you seek to give testimony in this matter?
I was okay with doing so.
Who were you informed by?
The district attorney's office.
Was that in form of a subpoena, or was it a conversation? Or
Well, at first it was knowing that there was a possibility, and then the subpoena.
so it'd be fair to say that you did have a conversation
Conversation?
with the district attorney's office.
Yes.
Did they ever inform you of who the plaintiff was in this matter?
Objection. Relevance.
Grounds.
Sustained.
Are you aware of any plaintiff in this matter?
Objection.
Grounds.
Relevance.
Grounds.
Sustained.
Have you ever talked to the plaintiff in this matter? Ever seen the plaintiff in this matter?
Objection.
Grounds.
Sustained under 90611. Mr. Brooks, you need to move on to a new topic or I will close the cross-exam.
I will move on. It has to be some type of ground stated other than relevancy or anything like that. The real ground should be put on record, Your Honor. We all deserve to know. The jury deserves to know.
It's not relevant. Move on.
So are you bringing this claim against the accused defendant in this matter?
Objection.
Grounds.
Sustained.
On what grounds, Your Honor?
It's vague. As to the form of the question.
Have you seek to receive any recovered damages or anything in the matter?
The only thing that we got was help to pay for our medical bills, as that was something that was completely unexpected from a Christmas parade.
Is that through the state of Wisconsin?
It was through, I forgot the name of what it was.
Are you listed as a plaintiff in this matter?
Am I listed as a plaintiff in this
Are
matter?
you the plaintiff? Did you file the claim?
Objection.
That's a
Relevance.
compound question. Sustained as to the form of the question. Mr. Brooks?
Did you file a claim?
9611. Move on. You've already asked about whether she filed a report. Move on.
Do you see the state of Wisconsin present in the court?
Objection.
Grounds.
Sustained under 90611. I warned you to avoid that topic or I would cease cross-exam, so I'll give you one more opportunity to ask a different line of questioning.
Do you recall when you gave your interview to law enforcement?
It was a few days after.
Would it be fair to say it was a few days or a week or so?
I don't actually remember the exact time.
Do you remember being interviewed by Detective Jeffrey Adent?
I remember being interviewed. I don't remember what the officer's name was.
Do you remember where you were interviewed?
At my house.
Do you recall if it was on November 30 of 2021?
I don't remember the exact dates.
Can you recall why it took a little bit for you to be interviewed by law enforcement?
I'm guessing because of how many people were injured throughout this parade. It did take a while to get around to everybody.
Did you seek to be interviewed in any way?
I don't think I seeked, but I did inform them that I was injured, as
But
well
you-
as my daughter.
But you don't recall calling any law enforcement or attempting to file a report?
Law enforcement that was there at the parade took people's name and it all ended up going to them.
Did you follow up in the days after?
I don't recall if I did.
Do you recall stating that you did not see what happened to your daughter?
I do recall that.
Do you recall being left a business card by Dr. Darrell L. Williams, PhD?
Yes, I do.
Would it be fair to say that he was the one that told you what happened?
I still to this day don't know directly what happened to my daughter. I just know that she was hit by the red vehicle as I was laying on the ground after I was hit.
So it would be fair to say if you didn't see what actually happened to your daughter, you didn't see what happened to anyone else?
Objection.
Grounds.
Characterization of the
Grounds.
evidence.
Sustain this to the form of the question.
Would it be fair to say that it was difficult to see if anyone else was struck?
From the position I was in, I seen a tire going in front of me, so no, I did not see directly anywhere besides the tire going in front of my face.
So it would be fair to say that you didn't see anyone get struck besides yourself?
It would be kind of difficult to see beyond that.
No further questions.
Can you redirect?
Can I just clarify, Ms. Grabow? The last time you saw your daughter before you got struck, where was she?
Objection. Irrelevant.
Overruled.
She was walking over, or she came over by me to get more candy to pass out, and she was walking off to the sidewalk to hand out more candy.
Sidewalk on which side of the Burris float?
Objection. Hearsay.
Overruled.
That would be to the driver's side of, so to the left.
Okay. And then you got struck. And where's the next place that you saw Adelia?
I seen it too.
Overruled.
She didn't see anything.
It's not hearsay, Mr. Brooks.
That's the definition of hearsay.
Mr. Brooks, the objection is noted. It's overruled.
On what grounds, Your Honor?
I direct your attention to section 90801, sir. You may answer the question.
After I got up, I found my daughter in the middle of the road. She was no longer by the sidewalk.
Where was she in relation to the Burris, the truck that was pulling the float?
Objection, hearsay.
Overruled.
On what grounds?
Direct your attention to 90801, sir. It's not hearsay. Go ahead, you may answer.
She was towards the driver's side of the front end of the vehicle, so she was more towards the front of the vehicle.
You testified that after you were struck, the noise in the area increased. It got louder. You
Yes.
saying that? And so, as a result of that increase in noise, you weren't listening for a horn?
No,
Okay. What about before you got struck? Did you hear the sound of a horn?
I did not.
Hearsay.
It's not hearsay, overruled. Would you just repeat your answer, please?
I did not hear a horn.
Thank you. You're doing fine, but if there is an objection, let me rule on it first, just so we're not talking over each other, okay? Thank you.
And I'm all done, Judge. Thank you.
All right, thank you. All right, you may step down. Thank you. You may call your next witness then.
The state will call Jeffrey Rogers.
You said Rogers?
Rogers.
Thank you. All right, good morning, Mr. Rogers. If you would please make your way to the witness stand, which is to my right. It is up a riser. When you get there, please remain standing. Raise your right hand. My clerk, Teresa, who is on my left, will swear you in.
Do you solemnly swear that the testimony you're about to give shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
Thank you, sir. Please have a seat. The first thing I will ask you to do is to state your first and last names for the record and spell each, please.
Okay. Jeff Rogers, Jeffrogers.
Thank you. Go ahead.
Thank you. Sir, do you live in the city of Waukesha?
Yes, I do.
Are you familiar with the program, the Waukesha Blazers Youth Baseball Program?
Yes,
Overruled.
Yes, I currently serve as the president.
And what is the Blazers Youth Program?
We have teams, we have a rookies program, which is ages 5 up to 12. We also have a select baseball program and softball program, and that ranges from ages 7 all the way up through high school.
Is this for boys and girls?
Yes.
And as president, what duties do you have?
Sure. Maintaining the schedule for the year, ensuring that we have indoor facilities for winter workouts, arranging any tournaments, ensuring we have game fields for the year for practices and games, setting the team rosters, running tryouts. There's lots on the plate.
Are you also a coach with the Blazers?
I am.
Okay. So direct your attention to November 21st of last year. Were the Blazers part of the City of Waukesha Christmas Parade?
Yes, we were.
And do you recall the day?
Yes.
Approximately what time did you have to get to the parade to set up?
It was probably about an hour before the parade started.
And was the parade starting at approximately 4 o'clock?
Yes.
What was the weather like?
It was cool, windy, I remember cloudy.
Who was all walking with the Blazers that day? I mean, not names, but generally speaking, was it players, coaches?
Sure, it was coaches, players, and some family members.
Did you have a float?
We had a pickup truck with a Christmas tree in the back.
Okay. And was that pickup truck marked with the Blazers?
We had banners on both sides of the truck, yes.
Okay. Do you recall any groups that were in front, or a group that was in front of you or behind you?
From my memory, I remember the extreme dance group in front of us. I don't remember who was in back.
Okay. And were you there, was it just you, or did you have any kids that were involved in the program at that time?
I was there with 3 of my 4 children, one of which was playing on my baseball team.
Okay. And I'm assuming that there are other parents there
Yes.
with their kids? And specifically, were two of your kids there, Caden, C-A-Y-D-E-N, and Riley, R-Y-L-E-E?
Yes.
And which one of those, does either one of those play with the program?
Kaden plays on my team.
Okay, and Riley was there for?
Support.
Okay.
She used to play in the program.
Okay, and then you had a third child there.
Yes.
Do you know Josh Crainer?
Yes, I do.
And what is his involvement with the Blazers?
He was a first-year coach for our 9U.
Okay, and he was also walking?
Yes, he was walking in the parade.
And did you have a formation for the parade, or was it just people kind of walking next to the truck, behind the truck?
All over the truck, we were handing out little flyers.
Promoting the Blazers, I'm assuming?
Correct.
Okay. Specifically, do you remember two players, Jackson and Tucker Sparks?
I do.
Were they there?
Yes, they were.
And was their dad there?
Yes.
Okay, and they were also walking the parade?
Yes.
Do you recall if they were wearing uniforms?
I believe Jackson was wearing his uniform. I don't remember if Tucker was.
I'm going to show you what's been, let me just make sure it was previously played. But Exhibit 11, I'm just going to display it in front of the screen in front of you. Yes, it was previously admitted. So I will also play it, publish it to the jury. And let me know when you see it in front of you.
I see it.
Okay. So initially I'm going to, it's a 2-minute and 29-second video. I'm going to have it play, and I will let Ms. Gussie know when.
Objection, how long is the video
It's
seeking
2
to be
minutes and
played?
29 seconds.
So would that be the entire video?
That would be the entire Exhibit 11. Okay, go ahead. I'm going to stop the video at 28 seconds. Did you recognize that as the Blazers, I want to say float or group that was marching the parade?
Yes, I saw myself and all the people walking with me.
Okay, did you see Josh Crainer?
I did.
Did you see either one of your kids, Caden or Riley?
I saw Kaden and Maya.
Okay, and then did you also see Jackson and Tucker Sparks?
I did see Jackson. I don't recall seeing Tucker.
Okay, let's play it again from the beginning. First of all, can you circle yourself on the screen? It's a touch screen. Can you circle yourself? And you said that you saw Katie?
Yep, just previously.
Okay, of course. And how about Jackson?
Yes, I saw Jackson, and I see Tucker now too.
Okay, and can you circle them? The shorter of the two kids, do you know, is that Jackson or Tucker?
That's Jackson.
Okay, so the taller is Tucker.
I believe so.
Okay, and I'm going to back it up approximately 4 seconds to 12 seconds. We've stopped at 16 seconds, and we can clear the screen. And I'm going to keep it paused. Do you see Caden in this frame?
I do.
And can you circle him by where he's standing? Now this was, at some point there was a vehicle that came through the parade, correct?
Correct.
This was before that time period, correct?
Yes.
Okay. At some point, and we can take this video down, did you hear any type of commotion or anything that drew your attention to behind you during the parade route?
Yes, I remember hearing some sort of scream, couldn't tell if it was part of the parade or not. Turned over my left shoulder to see, I remember a wheel falling over and thinking like, oh no, somebody fell off their bike or somebody got hurt, so I turned back around. And at that point the screams got louder and I saw people running, or heard people running and lots of screaming. So I turned around again, and that's when I saw a red SUV coming at us, and I pulled my daughter Maya out of the way.
At that time, do you recall, you said Maya was next to you?
Yes.
Do you recall where Caden was?
I remember Caden was up to the left of our vehicle. That's somewhere, I wasn't sure exactly.
And if you can recall, was the vehicle in the middle of Main Street?
Objection, hearsay.
Overruled. You may answer, sir.
From what I remember, yes.
And what side were you on? Were you at the back of the vehicle or the side of the vehicle?
I was pretty much directly behind our vehicle, in the middle of the road.
Okay. And Caden was where in relationship to you?
To my left.
Okay. And your daughter, Maya?
Maya was standing right next to me on my left.
Okay. And Riley?
And Riley was up somewhere by Caden.
Do you recall where Josh Crainer was?
Josh was to my left as well.
And how about Jackson and Tucker Sparks?
I recall them being in front of me and not sure, maybe a little to the left as well.
So when you look back, you said you heard screaming, you heard yelling and running. Did you hear a horn honking?
I did not.
When you first observed the red SUV, first of all, strike that. Was there a group immediately after the Blazers team in the parade?
Objection, relevant.
Overruled. You may answer, sir.
Are you talking behind us or in front of us?
Behind. Was there someone directly behind you, or was there a gap between you and whoever was behind you? If you recall when you look back, was there a float right behind you?
I don't remember seeing a float right behind us.
Okay. And people were running. Could you tell where they were running?
From what I remember, running towards me and to the sides of the street.
And when you first saw this, you said a red vehicle?
Yes.
Did you have a more, was it a car, a SUV, a pickup truck?
I remember it being larger than a car. How I described it to other people as an SUV.
And how was it coming at you? Was it on the, it sounds like you were behind the truck. You said Caden was to your left, which would be, and I'm horrible at directions, but that would be the south side of the street. Was it coming on the south side of the street, the middle of the street, or the north side of the street, which would have been to your right?
Objection, hearsay.
Overruled. You may answer.
From what I remember, it was middle, and then it moved to the left to go around our truck.
Okay. As it was coming towards you, what did you do?
My first reaction was to grab Maya, and she slipped through my hands the first time, and then luckily I grabbed her the second time and pulled her to the side. Immediately was trying to put her in the back of our vehicle because I didn't know if more cars were coming.
When you say the back of your vehicle, the Blazers vehicle, or did you have a personal vehicle also in the parade?
The Blazers pickup truck.
And then what happened?
Sure. So after I got her up in the truck, I was frantically looking for my kids. I watched the SUV continue driving down the parade route, swerved back to the right after it passed our truck. I was screaming, "Where's Riley?" Caden found me, and I tried to get him in the back of the truck as well. From there, I was yelling at him, asking where Riley, well, screaming, "Where's Riley?" He didn't know. So I ran around the truck a couple times, and that's when I saw Jackson on the ground and stopped by him to check on him.
So where was Jackson in relationship? I'm assuming that once the red SUV came through, did the parade stop?
Yes.
Where was Jackson in relationship to the Blazers pickup truck?
From what I remember, he was in the front of the truck, to the left.
Was there anyone else around him at that time?
His dad, Aaron.
Okay. Did you talk to Aaron?
I did.
And what observations did you make of Jackson?
Jackson was motionless on the ground, eyes open, didn't appear to be aware.
Did he appear to be alive?
Was unsure.
Did you find out that he died as a result of being struck?
I did.
Hearsay.
Overruled. This answer may stand.
So when the car came through, the red SUV, it went to which side of the truck?
The left side.
Okay. And that's where you said Caden was. Did Caden get struck?
Caden told me he did.
What injuries did he have?
Objection, hearsay. Just said told. It's not for sure.
Overruled. This witness may answer based on personal knowledge.
So Caden said he saw the,
Hold on. That would be hearsay. So I'll sustain the objection if you would rephrase the question.
What injuries did Caden have?
he had bruising on his right elbow.
And do you know if Caden got struck by the red SUV?
Objection, hearsay.
Overruled.
Yes, he did.
Did you see Jackson or Tucker Sparks get struck by the SUV?
Sitting here today, I do not remember that.
Okay. Did you give a statement at some point? I think it was part of a parade survey, if you recall that.
Yes.
That was, I think, created by the Victim Witness Program, sent out by the Victim Witness Program, and then you would have sent it back. Do you recall that?
Yes, I do.
And was that something that you created?
Yes, those are my words.
Okay. And is it correct that that form says, after that I saw the car drive past us on the left, striking two of our players, Tucker and Jackson Sparks?
Yes.
Objection, hearsay.
Overruled.
See that? That's hearsay.
Overruled. His answer may stand.
Thank you. I'm assuming that the event was fresher in your mind when you gave that statement versus a year later?
Yes, I believe everything in that statement is accurate.
Okay, thank you. And do you know if Jackson Sparks was injured? I'm sorry, Tucker Sparks.
Yes, he was.
Okay, do you know what injuries he had?
Objection, hearsay.
Overruled.
I remember the most significant was brain bleed or a head injury.
And did you eventually find your daughter Riley?
I did.
Where was she?
She was across the street. So I had taken my own Caden into the antique shop on the south side of the road. She was across the street in the Civic Theater.
Was she injured as a result of a car striking her?
She was.
And what car struck her?
The red SUV.
Okay. What injuries did she receive?
She had multiple cuts, bruises, scraping on both of her legs. Her knee was pretty badly bruised.
Now, after the car went to the left side of the Blazers truck, striking the kids, did you see the path that it took?
Objection, hearsay.
Overruled.
Yes, I remember it going back to the right side of the road after that.
So after it passed the truck,
Yes.
did it strike the Blazers truck at all?
I don't remember.
Okay. So it went to the far right side of the road,
Yes.
and then did you see it from there?
That's the last memory I have of it.
So do you know approximately how far Jackson was in front of the Blazers truck when you went and you talked to his father, Aaron, who was with Jackson?
Objection, hearsay.
Overruled.
I don't remember.
Okay. Did the vehicle stop?
No, it didn't.
Did you see it stop at any time while you had view of it?
No.
Can you estimate approximately how fast it was going before when you first took notice of the red SUV when you looked back?
Objection, hearsay.
Overruled.
I remember thinking, this is a parade. It's 25-mile-an-hour speed limit here. If I were in my neighborhood and a car was going that fast, I would be yelling at it. So faster than the speed limit.
And I'm assuming when you're in a parade, you're not going, although the speed limit on that road might be 25 miles per hour, you're not going 25 miles per hour. Would that be a correct statement?
Absolutely.
Objection, hearsay.
Overruled. His answer may stand.
Now, before you went into the antique store, was anyone yelling anything about shots being fired?
Yeah, I don't remember who yelled it, but I heard shots were fired and to get inside the nearest building.
And did you go in right away, or were you still looking around the car for Riley?
Right. I didn't have Riley at the time, so I had to make a decision that I had 2 out of my 3 kids and took them into the antique store after that.
Prior to going into the antique store, did you see Jackson again?
I don't remember if it was before or when I came out of the antique store.
Okay. So, did you see Jackson a second time on Main Street?
Yeah.
Hearsay.
Overruled.
Where was that, or where was he?
Yeah, so after I put Kaden and Maya in the antique store, I asked the couple there to watch them because I was going to go find my other daughter. Ran back outside on the main street, and that's when I saw Jackson again. And at that point, I believe a woman was trying to perform CPR on him.
Did you ever see Josh Crainer while you were outside?
I remember.
After the vehicle had gone through? I apologize.
No, that's fine. After running back outside, I remember seeing someone near our truck that had a jacket, a brownish jacket on, and at the time, I believed it was Josh. I didn't know him well at the time.
And where was he?
He was on the left side of the vehicle, our vehicle.
On the ground, did you say?
Yes, he was laying on the ground.
Okay. And at some point, did you, how did you find Riley?
I received a phone call when I was in the antique store. It was a phone call or a text message from my friend, Ben.
And what did he have Riley?
Yeah, he said he was with her across the street and that her legs were injured, but she was okay.
Okay. And that's what I was just going to say. As a result, you had indicated that Kaden did receive an injury from being struck by the car.
Yes.
Did Riley receive an injury?
Yes.
What were her injuries?
She had scrapes, bruises, abrasions up and down her legs.
And that was from the vehicle?
Yes.
Okay. I'm going to show you what's been previously marked and admitted into evidence as Exhibit 15. And I would ask that be published to the jury right away.
Go ahead.
And let me know, sir, when that's up on the screen in front of you.
I see it.
Okay. There's a section. Actually, it's in the middle of the page, probably more in the upper part. It has names: Josh Crainer, Riley Rogers, Caden Rogers, Jackson Sparks, and Tucker Sparks. Do you see that?
I do.
And then there's a line on the left side of that diagram that goes down to the map where it leads to a yellow star. Do you see that?
Yes.
Would that be the area in which each of those people were struck by the red SUV?
Objection, your side.
Overruled.
Yes, it appears accurate.
Thank you. I'm now going to show you what's been marked as Exhibit 148. I'm going to have it just shown in front of you first. And I'll have it play for a couple seconds. It's starting at 0. Sir, do you recognize the frame that it stopped at, which is at 5 seconds?
Yes,
Have you seen this video before?
I have.
And does it accurately depict what occurred on November 21st of last year, shortly before, during, and after the red SUV struck the Blazers?
Yes.
Okay. Permission to publish and admit Exhibit 148 into evidence.
Objection is noted. Exhibit 148 is received. Permission to publish is granted.
On what grounds?
Sir, it's approximately 3 minutes and 22 seconds. I'm going to play that entire video initially, and then we'll talk about it.
Okay.
I'm sorry, do we have the total again?
3 minutes and 22 seconds.
Thank you.
What is the relevance of showing the entire video?
Your objection is noted. It's overruled.
What grounds?
Relevance.
What grounds?
That is the grounds. Relevance. Go ahead.
That is the entire 3 minutes and 22 seconds. Sir, you just gave a testimony with regard to your actions. Did you see yourself in that video doing a lot of the things that you just testified to?
Yes, I do.
Okay, I'm going to play it one more time, and I'm going to pause it at certain points if you can just identify where you are and what you're doing, okay? So let's play it from the very beginning at 00. I'm going to pause it right here. Now, it looks like there's quite a few people in there walking behind Waukesha Blazers truck. Are all those people part of the Waukesha Blazers program?
It appears so, yes.
Okay, so either parents, players, or support?
Yes,
And do you see yourself?
I do.
And can you circle where you are? And your daughter?
Maya is right here.
And do you see Caden?
No, I don't.
And do you see Josh Crainer in this frame?
No, I don't.
Okay, let's
Hold
clear
on,
the
could you just make a record of where you paused?
Yes, I'm sorry. At 13 seconds, if we can clear the screen and continue on. Pause. Do you know what you were looking back at? It seemed like, as I started saying before, a lot of people are looking behind you. Is that when you heard, you said something about a wheel tipping?
Yeah, I remember the first time I turned back, seeing something tip, whether it was a stroller, a wheelchair, a bike, some sort of tires in my mind, and hearing screams at that time, thinking that somebody got hurt.
And you said you turned back, face forward, and then something else drew your attention back?
Correct.
And what was that?
The screaming.
Now, do you see Josh Crainer in this frame?
I do.
Okay, and can you circle him where he's at?
He was running right there.
And that's at 16 seconds?
Yes, and I was just reminded of that. Thank you. And you saw the video straight through before, correct?
Correct.
And Josh Crainer is about to get struck by the car, correct?
Correct.
Okay, so let's play that through. Stop the video. When you saw Josh laying on the ground, Josh Crainer, do you know approximately where, I'm sorry, it stopped at 19 seconds. I'm very bad at this. Do you know where Josh Crainer was laying approximately?
To the left side of our vehicle. That's about all I remember.
Okay, so he's not shown, did you see two bodies fly forward from the truck?
In the video or
In
when I
this
was
video
there?
right now?
I would have to see it again.
Okay, if we can go back to probably 14 seconds. And play it again. From 13 seconds. Stop it. Did you see two bodies flying forward?
Yes.
Do you recall, as you look at this picture, where Jackson was of the two bodies that flew forward?
I believe he was on the left side of the truck as well.
And can you circle him by where he's laying on the ground?
Can you play it one more time, please?
Yes, and that was, I stopped it at 21 seconds. I'm now going back again to 14 seconds and playing it again starting at 14 seconds. I paused, or it was paused at 18 seconds. Did that assist you?
Yeah. Looks like he's laying right up here.
And do you know who the body is that's to the right of Jackson?
I don't, looking at it from here.
And do you know, as Jackson and Tucker were marching to the left of the truck, as you testified to, were they close together in distance?
Yes, they were close.
Okay, thank you. If you can keep playing. I'm sorry, and it's starting at 18 seconds. What do you see you doing now?
I picked up Maya and I'm running to check on Jackson.
And if
over
you-
the top of him right now.
Okay. I was just gonna say, if you can narrate, and that you said that at approximately 31 seconds, you were over the top of Jackson.
Yes. And now I just grabbed Ella, another one of our members.
You can pause the video. Okay. And what are you doing? And
I'm
it's
putting-
paused at 35 seconds, 55 seconds.
Putting Maya in the back of the truck to keep her safe.
And how about Ella?
Ella, I was bringing her with me too, so I knew where she was.
Okay. At this point, had you seen Caden?
No.
Okay. Continue.
That I'm talking to Caden now.
So at 1 minute and 3 seconds, you're lifting someone up into the pickup truck?
Yes, that's Caden.
Okay. Continue.
And I'm yelling at him, asking where Riley is. And he's telling me he doesn't know. I told him to stay there, and I was going to go run and try to find her. As I went to the left of the truck, as I knew she was on that side.
Is that you running down the street?
I saw somebody down in the road, praying it wasn't her. It was not.
I'm going to pause it right now. When you said you saw someone else in the road, did it appear that that person was injured?
Yeah, they were down on the ground with people around them.
Okay. You can continue on.
Telling the kids that it'll be okay, and they're safe now with the truck.
Okay, that was paused at 1 minute and 47 seconds. Continue on. At 2 minutes in, had you found Riley yet?
No. And there I'm pointing out that
Pause.
we need medical attention.
And that was at 2 minutes and 31 seconds. You're pointing out that who needs medical attention?
Jackson.
You can continue on.
At that point, I was just talking to Caden again, asking him if he remembered where Riley was.
That's 2 minutes and 38 seconds.
And I told him to come and help me find her. At this point, people are rushing in the stores as we heard shots were fired.
That was at 3 minutes.
So I grabbed Maya and Caden and ran into the nearest open door that I could find.
Pause. And that was at about 3 minutes and 10 seconds. Is that, yes? Did that happen about 3 minutes and 10 seconds into the video?
Yes.
I'm sorry. And that's all I need for the video. And finally, I'm going to show you Exhibit 31. And let me just see if that's been admitted yet. It has not. So I'm going to have it displayed in front of you. I'm not going to have it published until I show you a couple seconds of this to see if you can indicate that this is a true representation of what happened on November 21st.
I see it, and it is.
Okay. Permission to publish it and admit Exhibit 31 into evidence.
How many seconds?
27 seconds.
Exhibit 31 is received, permission to publish is granted.
And if we can play it. and it was played until the end at 27 seconds. Does that accurately depict the path of the vehicle as it was striking the Blazers members?
Yes.
Thank you.
All right, I'm going to take a mid-morning break at this point, about 15 to 20 minutes. All rise for the jury, please. All right, thank you, everyone. We are in recess. Sir, you may step down as well. I'll be back in 20 minutes.
some of it before. I've had to print annotated, but because we're doing so many, Zach is like, I don't have time to keep going and printing for you. So this is the first time I had to know where they live and save them and then upload them.
Yeah.
At one point, I wanted them printed, and that was just becoming a shit show since the only color printer is like 4 miles away.
Right.
That and no one's allowed to get up, so it's not even like you're handing people things right now anyway.
Right.
So I'm just, as soon as I save it, I'm converting it to a PDF and then I'm just uploading it right into the court record. So, all
Sense for sure.
right, yeah, like you hear a horrible grind.
Oh, I'm sure.
Of course,
I
it's like,
I can't even imagine. You know, I even be a parent.
So fast. No one drives through my subdivision that fast.
I didn't even drive down, I mean, I live on University, which is a pretty busy road, and yes,
Yeah.
it's like 25, 30 miles an hour. But I didn't even drive down there, because there's so many little kids around there.
It was so fast. How you doing over there?
It's just gonna get worse.
It was so fast. Where did that come from?
But the witness brought it for them.
On behalf of the victims and stuff, we want to say thank you.
No.
It was so fast.
Flying
I'm
through.
still like shocked at like the actual speed of it.
Well, you guys are seeing so much more than what we even put on YouTube.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I can't even imagine.
You doing okay?
Will you share?
Thanks, Ian.
Always message me.
Down there. Well, I'm trying to double focus. Number one, I want to see what happened because I've never seen it. Kind of morbid, but
Yeah, but I mean,
then I'm also, because my back is to the gallery,
okay,
my focus too is somebody's gonna,
hop over and
so I'm kind of
you're on high alert.
Yeah. straining.
I can only imagine what you guys have to do with it. Because this is such a,
I just can't believe what these people do this.
I know, this is ridiculous. These poor families,
Yeah.
I can't. And not even the families that were, the family that were killed, but even the ones that were injured. Or even just witnessing that, the mental effect that has on someone for so long.
Yeah. Come on up.
Yeah.
Well, we have a few more minutes left in any event.
I told the state that once I capture an annotated image now, I can have it in the court record within 3 or 4 minutes.
Oh, okay.
Now that I know where to get it, I can get it, save it to a PDF, and immediately upload it.
Okay.
So then they can show it from there. Yeah.
Because he knows a lot about that stuff. He's also not.
No, but that was like one.
Yeah.
Right, I'm gonna guess.
I don't know what I did with the other ones. I must have taken them all down here. I don't know. It's all good. I thought I left them here, but I didn't.
I miss those so bad.
That's mine now, I got rid of it.
You did?
I think we're about
We went off at 10:09.
10:09. All right, it's 20 minutes. All right, we will go back on. The record appearances are as they were before. I will have the jury brought out, and we'll continue with the questioning of this witness.
Judicial determination you made about the jurisdiction.
I thought I was very clear, sir.
So will proof be validated?
Your request is denied.
On what legal basis, Your Honor?
The record stands, sir.
Is that a judicial determination?
My ruling was put on the record earlier, sir.
So that is a judicial determination?
All rise.
Come here for a second.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, everyone. Please be seated. Mr. Brooks, you may start your questioning of this witness then.
Just a second, I'm sorry about that. I just needed a second. I apologize to the witnesses. A little emotional right now for me, so I apologize to the court as well for the delay. Can you recall what time you arrived at the parade that evening?
I don't remember exactly.
Do you recall how long you intended to stay?
Through the parade till it was done.
You testified earlier to seeing some of the video footage that was played. Would that be fair to say?
Yes, that's fair to say.
Do you recall how many times before today you saw the video footage?
I believe I saw one of the videos once.
And you don't recall seeing any of the other videos?
Maybe clips we were bouncing around.
Do you recall by whom you were shown the videos?
The folks at the prosecution table.
That referring to the 3 prosecutors sitting there right now?
Yes.
All 3?
Yes.
You stated in testimony earlier that you did not see the vehicle strike the children that were in front of you. Would that be fair to say?
I said sitting here today, I don't remember that.
You said something to that effect. Would that be fair to say?
You'd have to be more clear.
You said something to that effect of what you just said.
To what effect?
That you, sitting here today, that you do not recall seeing anyone struck ahead of you.
That's correct.
But then you also stated that you did see who was struck ahead of you.
Is that a question?
Would that be fair to say?
In relation to what?
In relation to someone being struck in front of you
When I was there or the video? What are you talking about?
at any time when you was there.
When I wrote my statement, I wrote what I remembered at that time.
So would it be fair to say that as you sit here today that anything about your statement may have changed?
Nothing has changed.
So your testimony here today would be accurate to what you reported?
Everything I said has been accurate.
Do you recall saying in your interview with the DIC that your 11-year-old son and 9-year-old daughter suffered minor injuries in the event?
I remember saying they were injured.
Do you recall saying that the injuries were minor?
No.
Not direct the witness to the statement?
Do you have a copy of that?
Yes, right here.
Is it his statement or a summary?
It's not his statement, it is a statement from DCI, an agent from DCI, in which the DCI agent spoke with Mr. Rogers and wrote down what he believed was said to him. It was not signed by Mr. Rogers, it was not reviewed by Mr. Rogers, therefore I would object to this being characterized as this witness's statement.
Grounds.
If he would like to call the DCI agent, then he may do so.
Grounds.
All right, I'm going to sustain the objection as to the form of the question. Rephrase, if you're able or desire.
Do you recall stating to whomever interviewed you from the DCI that the injuries were minor?
No.
Any reason why they would report that you said that?
I don't know. You'd have to ask them.
Any reason why they would believe that that's what you said?
Objection.
Reported grounds.
Relevance.
Grounds.
Calls for speculation on the part of the witness. Sustained.
Do you remember giving a prepared statement at 10:45 a.m. on 11/22 of 2021?
I do.
Do you recall the gist of what you prepared?
Can you be more specific?
Specifically, that you heard commotion, turned around to see a stroller or something fall over about a block and a half behind us.
Yes,
You recall making that statement?
I do.
About how many people would you estimate was at the parade that day?
I would guess the thousands.
And you were able to see something fall over from a block and a half away amidst thousands of people.
Yes,
And you don't recall what that was that you saw?
no.
Any reason as to why you would name what you saw fall if you don't recall it?
I described it.
So you did see something fall.
Objection. Ask and answer.
Grounds.
Asked and answered. Sustained.
Do you recall what the item was?
Objection.
Grounds.
Asked and answered.
Grounds.
Sustained.
Do you recall about what time you heard that shots were fired?
After watching the video, it's about 3 minutes, 3 minutes after the red SUV drove by us.
Do you recall the day of the incident? Not the video.
I remember it was after the vehicle drove by us.
Did you hear the shots?
No,
Do you remember who that was reported by?
I don't.
What did you do after you heard that shots were fired?
I looked for all of my children again and made the decision to take 2 of them into the antique store.
About how long did it take you to look for everybody before you went into the antique store?
Before or after the shots fired comment?
After the shots fired comment.
I think I did another lap around the car and then around our Blazers truck and then grabbed my kids and left.
Were you able to retrieve everyone at that time?
No.
You recall who was missing?
Riley was missing.
Did you leave the antique shop anytime after you had gathered your loved ones into the antique shop?
Yes.
About how long before you left the antique shop?
I don't remember.
Do you remember what you did when you left the antique shop?
I remember at some point seeing Jackson again on the ground.
Did you continue looking for the loved one that you missed before you gathered the other ones into the antique shop?
To the best of my recollection.
You don't recall for sure?
It was pretty chaotic. I was looking constantly for my missing daughter.
Did you end up finding her?
I did not find her, no.
And who was Ben White?
He was another coach with the Blazers and a friend.
Was he with you in the antique shop?
No.
So at some point you got separated. Would that be fair to say?
Separated from who?
Separated from Ben.
We were all separated as soon as the car drove by.
Any idea where he may have gone at that time?
No.
You remember talking to him after you had gathered everybody in the antique shop?
I remember at some point he reached out. I don't remember if it was text or phone call. Yes.
Did he say if he was injured in any way?
I don't remember.
Were you injured in any way?
No physical injuries.
Was it pretty windy that day, from your recollection?
From what I remember, there was a pretty good breeze, yes.
Pretty cold?
It was cool.
Pretty loud?
Normal parade sounds.
Would that be characterized as loud?
I guess it depends who's, that would be subjective to the person there.
Would you say it was loud?
Not overly loud.
So you yourself were able to hear pretty good over a parade with thousands of people?
I would say so, yes.
You had one of your daughters, Maya, with you that day. Would that be fair to say?
That's fair to say.
Was she injured in the event?
I threw her to the ground to get her out of the way, so she had some scrapes.
And would that result from you throwing her to the ground?
I don't know.
Did she say that she had been injured in any way?
No.
Do you recall if anyone else besides your children who were injured?
I remember lots of people who were injured.
Do you recall
I just answered that.
specifically? Do you remember who besides your children?
You want me to list all of the names that were injured?
Just rough estimate. That you recall.
That I recall, 10 to 15 people that I saw.
That you actually observed.
Yes.
Did you render any assistance to any of those people?
No.
Any reason why not?
My daughter was missing.
So it'd be fair to say at that moment your concern was your daughter that you didn't retrieve to go into the antique shop.
My concern was for everyone that was just struck by the vehicle.
Including your daughter that was missing, right?
I was concerned about her missing, yes.
Did you file any reports other than just interview?
What do you mean by
Like an injury report of any kind?
Just what you had in front of you that you were reading from. That was my statement.
No. Did you file any injury reports or
Objection, that's a big question.
grounds?
Sustain us to the form of the question, sir. Please rephrase.
asking is, usually if there's an injury, you will file a complaint. To the best of your recollection, did you file any complaint from the incident?
I wouldn't consider it a complaint. I filed some paperwork saying that my children were injured, yes.
Do you recall if that was a complaint?
I don't know.
Was it a claim in any sort of way?
Yes.
Do you recall what the claim was?
It was with the Victim Assistance Program.
And what does that consist of? What are their resources in pursuant to the complaint that you filed, or claim that you filed, right?
Can you rephrase?
What would be their assistance and to help you with your claim that you were filing?
It was to help with any medical bills that arose out of this situation.
So it would be fair to say that you had a financial interest in this incident?
Objection.
Grounds.
Mischaracterizes the testimony.
Grounds. I believe it's relevant to the fact that bills were needed to be paid. It's relevant.
Overruled, he may answer.
I was looking to get the medical bills covered, yes.
So would that be fair to say that you had a financial interest?
I would say sitting here today, I didn't care if it got approved or not. I was trying to get assistance for the medical bills.
So if it had gotten approved, would you have been able to do it yourself, or would you have seek to do it yourself?
Judge's relevance.
Grounds.
Sustain, the question is vague.
Would you have seeking? Would you have paid the medical bills yourself,
Yes.
regardless to price?
I generally pay my bills.
And specifically that matter, not the rest of your bills. Specifically that matter.
Objection's relevance.
Grounds.
Sustained. Move on, Mr. Brooks.
Would you consider yourself an injured party in this case?
No.
Were you aware that you might be called to testify in this case?
Eventually, yes.
Did you seek to testify in this case?
No.
May I ask why you agreed to testify if you didn't seek to?
Objection's relevance.
Grounds.
Sustained.
Do you recall who informed you via subpoena to testify?
I received a subpoena from the DA's office, yes.
You did?
Yes,
Sorry, I didn't hear that.
no problem.
Are you aware of the plaintiff in this case?
Objection relevance.
Grounds.
Sustained.
Have you read a complaint pursuant to this case at any time?
Not that I remember, no.
Do you understand that for charges to be issued that it has to be a claim, therefore it has to be a plaintiff?
Objection.
Grounds.
Okay, so first of all, the
Grounds.
grounds are relevancy. It's not relevant. That would be the
You
grounds.
also have to state the grounds.
Hold on. Let her get her position out, Mr. Brooks.
And it mischaracterizes the former testimony.
It does-
Sustained as to both grounds. Under 90611, move on, please.
So you're not sure if there is a plaintiff?
Objection
Grounds.
relevance.
Sustained.
Have you ever had any interaction with the plaintiff?
Objection.
Grounds.
Sustained.
Are you aware who brought charges in this matter? Grounds.
Sustained.
If you're not sure of a complaint, how can you be sure of the charges in this case?
Objection.
Grounds.
Sustained. Mr. Brooks, under 90611, please move on to a new topic where your cross-examination will be shortened and cut off.
Your Honor, with all due respect, every question that I'm asking is relevant. It pertains to the plaintiff in this matter that seems to be nowhere
Mr. Brooks, you're
found.
making a legal argument. We'll take that up outside the presence of the jury. Move on.
I believe the jury deserves to know who the plaintiff is in this matter. That's very relevant to the case. How can they rule on something when they don't
Mr.
even know
Brooks,
who the plaintiff is?
please, move on. Next question, or I will turn it back over to the state for redirect.
Can you recall if you saw the driver of the vehicle?
I don't remember seeing the driver.
Were you able to catch a glimpse of the license plates?
No.
Do you recall if the vehicle had any tinted windows?
I don't remember.
About how far from the vehicle were you when it passed you?
From the red SUV?
About how far from the vehicle were you when it passed you?
Can you tell me which vehicle you're talking about?
How far from the vehicle were you when it passed you? The vehicle that went around your Blazers vehicle.
The red-
I guess I would ask the defendant to be more clear as to what vehicle and when it went around, like at the beginning of the parade, before it struck his kids.
I was just clear. I said the vehicle that went around his Blazers
Sustained
vehicle.
as to the form of the question. Please rephrase.
The vehicle that you observed, well, rather I'll say the vehicle that you observed approaching. About how far from it were you when it passed you?
Objection, just to clarify, is he saying the red SUV that this witness has described as that red SUV was approaching him, or some other vehicle?
Sustained as to the form of the question.
Well, I thought he was clear when he said that there was only one
What's your question,
vehicle.
Mr. Brooks?
Excuse me, Your Honor?
You have to be clear with your question. It's vague.
He
As
said
to
it was
the
only
word
one.
vehicle, you need to be clear which vehicle you're questioning the witness
The
about.
vehicle that was approaching, that he said
At
was
what
approaching.
point in time, what color is the vehicle, something like that, sir.
The vehicle that you observed strike anyone. How close were you to that vehicle when it passed you?
The red SUV was about 10 feet probably from me.
And you didn't see the driver, correct?
Correct.
Did you see anyone else in the vehicle?
I did not look in the vehicle.
Would that be a no?
That's a no.
Thank you.
Would it be fair to say that 10 feet from a vehicle is pretty close?
Subjective.
What would you say? Would you say that's pretty close?
It depends what you're talking about.
Would you say that 10 feet is pretty close to a vehicle?
Depends. If they're driving, yes.
Would it be fair to say that that's close enough to be able to see who is driving?
It depends on many other factors.
What would those factors be?
Eyesight, windows up, down. If they're looking at the vehicle.
I'm assuming it would be fair to say that you were definitely looking at the vehicle, correct? Would that be fair to say?
When?
When it was approaching and when it passed?
Yes.
Any reason why you would not try to identify the driver?
Because my children were about to be struck.
Any reason why you would not try to see if you can catch a license plate number?
Because people had just been hit.
So it would be fair to say because of what you was observing, that would be the reason why you didn't try to get a description of the driver or the license plate.
My priority at the time was not identifying the driver.
No further questions.
Thank you. Any redirect?
Just briefly, Your Honor. Sir, you had indicated that you submitted a claim to the Victim Witness Program for medical bills. Is that correct?
Correct.
Were those the medical bills for Caden and Riley that were incurred as a result of the red SUV hitting both of those children?
Yes.
Objection, relevant.
Overruled. His answer may stand.
And it was yes?
Reminder
Yes.
to wait until I.
Sure.
No
Thank you.
problem.
No further questions, thank you.
All right. Thank you. You may step down. All right, you may call your next witness.
Today we call Josh Crainer.
All right, good morning, sir. If you would please make your way to the witness stand, which is up a riser to my right. When you get there, please remain standing. Raise your right hand. My clerk, Teresa, who's on my left, will swear you in.
Do you solemnly swear that the testimony you're about to give shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Thank you, sir. Please be seated. The first thing I will ask you to do is to state your first and last names for the record and spell each, please.
Joshua Crainer, Joshua, Crainer, Kraner.
Thank you. Go ahead.
So I'm going to direct your attention to November 21st of last year, 2021. Were you at the City of Waukesha Christmas Parade?
Yes, I was.
And were you a participant or a spectator?
Participant.
And what group were you with?
The Waukesha Blazers.
And what was your affiliation with the Waukesha Blazers?
I'm a head coach of the Slammers, which was at the time a 9U baseball team.
Okay. How long had you been involved with the Blazers?
Just a couple months.
Did you have any children that were part of the Blazers program?
Yes, my son.
And how many kids?
Just one.
Okay. So on that day, were you there with your son or daughter?
My son and my wife.
Okay. And you were marching with the Blazers?
Yes.
Do you recall what you were doing? Were you handing out candy, handing out flyers?
We were handing out flyers.
To support the Blazers program?
Yeah, to recruit people for the rookie program.
Okay. What did the Blazers have afloat in the parade?
We had a truck.
Okay. And was it marked with the Blazers logo on it?
Yes.
Do you recall what color it was?
No.
Okay. And where were you in relationship to the truck? Was the truck in front of the people with the Blazers, or was the truck behind the people?
We had players on both sides of the vehicle. I was walking majority in the back of behind the truck during the parade.
Okay. Did there come a time when you heard a commotion behind the truck?
Yes.
Can you describe for the jury what exactly you heard?
I heard screaming.
Now, you were at a parade, so I'm assuming as part of a parade there's normally screaming. Was it something different?
Yes.
Can you describe it?
Horrific.
I'm sorry?
Horrific.
Okay. What did you do?
I turned around to look at what was going on.
What did you see?
I saw a red Ford Escape up on the curb. I saw people throwing themselves out of the way.
Now, when you say you saw the vehicle up on the curb, can you describe that for the jury, what you mean by that?
It wasn't in the roadway?
So I'm assuming that the parade is taking place on Main Street in the city of Waukesha?
Yes.
And the cars and the parade participants would be within the areas between the two curbs?
Yes.
And this car was up on a curb?
What I remember, yes.
Okay. Did you see that car strike any people?
No.
Okay. You saw people running from the area that the car was coming from?
Yes.
What did you do?
I instantly tried to find my son.
How old is your son?
He's 10 now.
9 at the time of the parade?
Yes.
Where was he when you last saw him before looking to your back when you heard the commotion?
He was on the left side of the truck.
Okay. And did you see him when you looked back?
No.
Then what happened?
I was struck by the vehicle.
Where did the vehicle strike you?
I don't remember.
Okay. Did you receive injuries as a result of the vehicle striking you?
Yes.
And what were those injuries?
I couldn't walk. I was in the hospital. I had muscle contusions. I had bone bruises.
Did the vehicle, when it struck you, or after it struck you, did the vehicle continue on with its path of travel down the parade route?
Yes.
Overruled.
And did you see the path it took after striking you?
Yes.
Where did it go?
Forward.
Could you tell if it went straight ahead, swerved one way or the other way?
No.
Overruled. You may answer.
No.
Okay. When you were struck, do you recall if you were to the left of the Blazers truck or if you were still in the middle of the Blazers truck?
I was on the left.
Were you knocked to the ground?
Yes.
What do you recall after the truck went past as you're laying on the ground?
I just remember tires going by.
Going over you or just by you?
When I first recall it, it seemed like it was going over me. But I can't. To be honest with you, I don't know.
Then what did you next recall?
People coming over to me.
Okay. Did you see your son?
No.
Did you eventually meet up with your son while you were still on Main Street?
Yes.
Okay. And was he injured?
No.
I'm going to show you what's been previously received as State's Exhibit 11, and I'm going to ask that be published to the jury, or for the jury.
Go ahead. You must be part of it, all of it, something else?
It would be probably the first 20 or so seconds. The video is 2 minutes and 29 seconds. And I'm going to start it at 0.
Go ahead.
And so I'm just going to have it play, and then I'm going to ask you some questions.
Just so we clear for the record, the first 20 seconds, right?
I'm going to stop it when it hits the relevant time frame that this witness can testify to.
Go ahead.
Do you see yourself, it's been paused at 18 seconds, do you see yourself in this still shot?
Yes.
Can you circle where you are? Oh, I'm sorry, it's a touch screen. I guess I need to add that part.
That is the pointer. He's not the first person to grab that, so we'll have Pete take it and we'll bring it back to you.
Yeah, usually they don't like me to have the pointer. I tend to hit people with it, so that's probably why they best left it up there. And that's you marching the parade, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And do you know, was the truck playing any music as the parade was? Did you guys have any sound coming from your area?
I do not remember.
Okay. Do you recall if you heard a horn honking after seeing the red SUV?
No.
You did not hear any horn honking?
No.
Okay. Next, I'm going to show you Exhibit 148, which has been previously admitted into evidence. I'd ask that it be published to the jury. And I would be playing the first 27 seconds of that video.
Go ahead.
And I'm just going to play it through the first time. And we can stop it here at 23 seconds. What did you see in that video, sir?
Being struck?
Okay. And that accurately depicts what you can recall of being struck?
Yes.
Okay. So going to the beginning of that exhibit, 148 again, and playing it, it looks like you're running towards something. And let me play it and then pause it when I see that beginning. Pause. Do you recall what you were running towards?
My son?
Okay. And that would have been where he was at that time of the parade?
Yes, on the left side.
Do you recall where Jackson Tucker Sparks were at that time?
No.
Okay. Have nothing further? No, thank you.
Just for the record, you may have said this, but the last pause was at 16 seconds in.
Correct, sorry.
All right, you may take the video down, please. All right, go ahead.
I'm about to leave that same video.
All right, well, let me know when you need it. Go ahead, you may start your cross.
Can you pull that exhibit up again, 148?
Sure. You want it to the witness or published?
Published.
All right. How much of it do you want played before you ask a question?
The first, what was it, 22, 23 seconds?
All right. 23 is my notes indicate. It's when the state first stopped it. All right, go ahead.
Can you pause it right there? Can you identify for the jury where you are in this video if you see yourself?
The record is paused at 15 seconds.
And for the record, I believe is this the video with the sound? It was, no, this one does not have sound. Okay, just want to make sure I had that accurate. All right, go ahead, Mr. Brooks.
You can unpause it.
Clear the.
All right.
And then it's paused at 21?
Yes, that would be correct. 21 seconds. Do you recall, from just looking at the video, have you seen this video before today?
Just still shots of it, not the video itself.
So it would be fair to say that this is only your second time seeing this video?
Yes.
Do you, you could take the video down, I'm sorry. Do you recall giving a statement to Officer so pale?
I don't remember the name of the officer.
Do you recall giving a statement to an officer?
An FBI agent? Yes.
Do you recall if you gave them a summary of what you remember, or if you actually wrote the statement yourself?
I don't think I wrote it.
Do you recall saying that you needed a walker to assist you in moving?
Yes.
Would it be fair to say that you're moving pretty good these days?
Objections or relevance?
Grounds.
Sustained.
Would it be fair to say that you're walking pretty good as of now?
Objection.
Grounds. Just walk to the
Sustained.
bench.
Not relevant.
Did you also remember stating that you don't remember much from the event?
I do not remember saying that.
And I guess it would be the summary of the report of the statement that you gave to the officer, which I have right here. It says that you stated that you don't remember much from the event, but made it clear that your primary concern was needing to know where your children were after being struck. Would that be fair to say?
Yes.
Do you recall what you did after being struck?
I could not move. I was on the ground.
Do you recall how long before you were moved from your position?
Couple minutes.
Were you helped by someone, or?
Yes, 2 people.
And where did they take you?
Into the joke shop.
And from there, did you receive any medical attention?
Yes.
Do you recall where that was?
Memorial Hospital.
You recall who took you to Memorial Hospital?
A squad car.
Do you remember the officer's name?
No.
Do you recall what date you made the report to the officer? Or the date that you were interviewed, rather?
Which time?
So there was more than one time?
Yes.
Do you recall making or giving an interview, rather, on the 24th of November of 2021?
Yes.
Do you recall what date the other report was taken?
The night of.
Do you remember by whom that night?
An FBI agent.
After being struck, you testified that you saw the vehicle kind of go up on the curb. Would that be fair to say?
Can you ask that again?
What did you see the vehicle do after it struck you?
After it struck me, I continued.
What did you see it do?
Drove off.
Did you see it strike anyone at that point?
No.
Or were you able to get a look at the driver in any way?
No.
A license plate number in any way?
No.
you testified for the jury earlier that you heard screams from behind you before you were struck. Would that be fair to say?
Yes.
Did you see the vehicle approaching at that point? Did you turn to see if anything was approaching at that point, rather?
Yes.
About how far was the vehicle away from you at that time that you observed it?
20 yards.
You were able to make that assumption how?
I'm a coach and we go off yards a lot.
That makes sense. Would it be fair to say that that's relatively close?
Yes.
Close enough for you to see into the vehicle?
I did not see into the vehicle.
So it would be fair to say that at no time during the incident you saw the driver?
No, I did not.
And just so I'm correct for the record, you said that you said that your children were not injured in the incident. Would that be fair to say?
Not physically.
Grounds?
Yes, they answered.
The witness answered it. His answer may stand, so the objection is overruled.
And when you were treated at Memorial Hospital, did you receive any pain medications, Tylenol, ibuprofen, anything like that?
Yes.
Do you recall how long you had to be treated before you were discharged?
1 day.
In the days after the event, did you file any claim whatsoever?
Can you be more descriptive?
Did you file a claim as an injured party?
Yes.
Do you remember who that was with?
No.
So would you consider yourself to be an injured party in this matter?
Absolutely.
So you would consider yourself to be a plaintiff?
Objection.
Grounds?
Sustained on relevance grounds. And under 906.11 as well.
Do you recall who called you to testify in this matter?
The DA?
Can you point out for the jury which DA?
No.
Do you see him in court?
No.
Do you recall the name of the DA that you were referring to?
I got
Objection as to relevance for this
Grounds?
hearing.
Sustained. He's already indicated that the district attorney's office issued the subpoena.
Well, actually, he said the DA, so that was pretty vague.
Sir, did you mean the district attorney's office?
Yes.
Next question, please.
Were you subpoenaed?
Yes.
Do you recall the name on the subpoena?
Objection.
Grounds?
Sustained.
So to the best of your knowledge, you're not aware of any plaintiff in this matter?
Objection, relevance.
Sustained.
To the best of your knowledge, you have never seen the plaintiff in this matter?
Objection,
Grounds.
relevance.
Sustained.
Have you ever seen or read a complaint in this matter of any kind?
Yes.
Would you state what that was for the record and for the jury?
I just saw the stuff in the news.
And seeing stuff on the news would amount to a complaint?
Sorry, I misheard your question. Can you ask it again?
Have you read or seen a complaint in this matter?
No.
But it would be fair to say, just based on your testimony, that you saw reporting on the incident in the news. Would that be fair to say?
Yes.
Do you recall what you saw in the news?
Just information about the trial.
Did you see anything before the reported trial?
No.
Would it be fair to say that this matter has been going on for quite some time, that there were a lot of reports in the news? Would that be fair to say?
Objection, relevance.
Grounds.
Ms. Brooks, unless you can tie it into relevance with this witness, I'm inclined to sustain that
I'm
objection.
going somewhere with it.
Then just ask the question, sir.
Have you yourself seen anything in the news before the scheduled trial in regards to this matter?
Yes.
Can you state for the record and for the jury what that was?
Just information about the trial itself.
Did you at any time see any reports about the alleged defendant at any time?
Mr. Brooks, I'm gonna, under 90611, this is not a witness who identified the driver, so I'm not sure where the relevance is of this. We'll take it up outside the presence of the jury once you're concluded with your questions, and I'll determine if there needs to be more questioning of this witness. Next topic, please.
You testified a few minutes earlier that you really don't remember much after being struck. Do you recall where you were after being struck?
I was on the ground.
And about which area? Was it by the Blazers truck, relatively close to the curb, or about what position?
Near the truck.
Near the Blazers truck.
Yes.
Did you see the vehicle strike anyone before it struck you?
No.
No further questions.
How do you read the record?
Thanks.
Thank you, sir. You may step down. Before he's excused, I'm just going to excuse the jury momentarily. We'll let you know when you can be brought back in. All rise for the jury, please. All right, thank you. Be seated. Mr. Brooks, I cut you off when you were asking questions about what this witness had seen on the news. And I'll give you an opportunity to give me an offer of proof as to why you believe that's relevant and specifically as to this witness.
Well, it's relevant because of how close he testified to being away from the vehicle. He testified to being 20 yards away from the vehicle, which is not super close, but it's not far enough that you wouldn't be able to see a driver or see into the car.
Well, that's an argument, sir. So what questions would you have that you didn't already ask, and how does the news reports relate to that?
Maybe he may have seen the alleged defendant on the news, and maybe that may jog his memory back to if he seen the driver.
But he testified he didn't see the driver. So
He also testified to never making the comment that he didn't remember the event, but it's clearly in his summary and in his report that he said that. So it's conflicting. His report is conflicting with what he's testifying. So I was trying to get at the credibility of it. That was my whole aim.
what does the news reports have to do with that, sir?
The news reports are relevant just by the sheer amount of reporting that they've been reporting. This has been going on for a year.
That assumes facts, not an evidence, sir. So this witness did not identify you during this trial. This witness testified as to his observations regarding the date in question, his injuries, and other things surrounding what he saw and heard and what he didn't see and hear. So the news reports don't have any bearing on his credibility. The points that you bring up are arguments that you may make if you choose during your closing arguments. But the questions you are asking don't further that theory. So that's why I cut you off, because there was not anything that you were connecting by way of relevance.
With all due respect, Your Honor, a lot of the questions I ask are objected to. It seems like I can't even get to the questions that need to be answered.
Sir, many of your questions go to these sovereign ideas that are frivolous arguments about the plaintiff and all of that. We give you a little bit of leeway, I give you a little bit of leeway on it, but to ask about a claim, because frankly it's a vague question, and many of these victims may in fact have made a claim with crime victim compensation, and so I think that's potentially relevant, but you may be asking it for a different purpose. I'm allowing it probably for a different purpose than you're anticipating, but the questions about the state and the plaintiff, other than when you talk about and you ask questions about who subpoenaed them, had they reviewed anything in preparation for their testimony, those are all fair game. But other questions are not, and that's why there's an objection, and that's why I rule the way that I do. So ask relevant questions, they'll be answered. So I don't see any need for this witness to be brought back in. I don't believe that witness was on Mr. Brooks's list, so that witness is excused. Who's the next witness?
With all respect, on the record, Your Honor.
I've asked a question of the state. Let them answer, please. Mr. Brooks, let them answer. Hold on.
So the next witness that we had intended on calling is Detective Mike Carpenter with the Waukesha Police Department, who would provide testimony about his conducting the speed analysis of the vehicle. I don't expect that we'd be able to get through direct. Well, we might be able to get through direct.
I'd like to at least have him start. I want to go closer to the lunch hour today.
So the other issue is that we thought we were going to be breaking for lunch, so he's not in the building right now. We have another witness who is ready, who we could call out of order, but that would be moving into a new topic, a new group along the parade route. So we're fine with whatever the court wants to do.
I'd like to keep going, so I'll defer to you on which witness to call.
And Your Honor, I would just note, I don't believe.
I asked for it, maybe I did. Jeff Rogers, I know he has remained in the courtroom, he is a victim. Is he excused from his subpoena? He was not an individual who we were provided a subpoena for by Mr. Brooks.
He's excused.
Thank you.
All right, we'll bring the jury back out and we may call.
On the record before you bring the jury.
Quickly, Mr. Brooks.
You made reference to questions I asked, and being, you said something to the effect of sovereign things. I don't understand what you mean by that. I have no anticipation on your rulings. I'm not trying to sit here and I got enough work to do on the fly. I'm definitely not trying to sit here and trying to anticipate what will be objected to, what will be ruled on in any way. I'm merely just, it was understood that this would be a whole new thing for me to do. I apologize if I'm not as polished as I should be, working on 3 days' time before a trial. We see all the work that I haven't even gone through.
Mr. Brooks, the jury's coming back in.
For the record, I don't consent to that name, and I don't consent to the arguments that the prosecution made. They're all relevant questions, as the jury deserves
Mr.
to know.
Brooks, please.
The jury deserves to know who the plaintiff is in this matter. I think it's fair to them, if they're to make an informed and intelligent decision, they should know who the plaintiff is.
So your objections noted for the record.
May I ask for a legal finding of fact on that ruling, Your Honor? Or is that a judicial determination, Your Honor?
Thank you, everyone. Please be seated. All right, the statement call its next witness, please.
The state calls Alyssa Gajewski.
All right. Good morning. If you would please make your way to the witness stand, which is on my right. It is up a riser. When you get there, please remain standing. Raise your right hand, and my clerk, Teresa, will swear you in.
Do you solemnly swear that the testimony you're about to give shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do. Thank you, ma'am. Please have a seat. First thing I will ask you to do is to state your first and last names for the record and then spell each.
Alyssa Gajewski, ALYSSA GAJEWSKI.
Thank you. Go ahead, your witness.
Thank you. Ms. Gajewski, how old are you?
23.
Do you have any familiarity with a group called the Extreme Dance Group?
Yes.
How do you know that group?
I used to coach there
How long were you a coach for the Extreme Dance Group?
about 4 years.
Can you tell us the time frame where that took place?
Yeah, so probably around 2018 to early 2022.
Where's that dance group headquartered? Where do you hold your practices?
It was it's 404 Travis Lane. I don't know Waukesha, so I don't know what road it's off of.
Okay, but it's in Waukesha?
Yes.
All right. And in general, what cities or municipalities did the dancers come from?
Waukesha.
Okay. What were the approximate age ranges of the girls that you instructed at Extreme?
Just myself.
The girls who were dancers, how old were they?
So we started at Itty Bitty, which was about 2-ish, and then my team was the oldest, so we went up to 8th grade.
What do you call your team?
So my team was called the Elite Team.
And what's the approximate age range of those girls?
6 to 8, 8th grade.
And you mentioned Itty Bitty was about 2, right?
About 2 to 3.
Are there any groups between those?
Yeah, so it's Itty Bitty, and then the tiny group, and then the mini group, and then the juniors, and then the elite.
And it's a continuum of age from itty-bitty all the way up to the elite?
Yes.
Okay. I want to direct your attention to Sunday afternoon, November 21st of 2021. Was your group, the Extreme Dance Group, marching in the Waukesha Christmas Parade that day?
Yes.
And were you present with the group?
Yes.
Were there any other instructors or coaches there?
Yeah, there was just one other,
And who was that?
Jamie Sutton.
Do you remember approximately how many from your dance group were present?
I had about 12. Jamie might have had around 10. Minnie's was around 4, maybe. Tiny's 4, and itty bitties, I'm not sure, because they were just in like strollers and stuff with their parents.
When you marched in the parade, were you in a specific formation?
Yes, we were.
And how were the different age groups organized in that formation?
So at the front, it would start oldest, and then it would go to youngest. So it would be elite, juniors, Minnie's, Tiny, and then the itty bitties with their parents.
Okay. Was there a vehicle or a float associated with your group in the parade?
Yeah, there was a truck.
What kind of truck?
It was,
Pickup truck?
yes, yeah.
What's the objection? Her answer may stand. I'll instruct the state to avoid leading questions.
About how many times did you make it through your routine during that parade?
Overruled.
I don't recall.
Was there a certain point when your dancers stopped dancing?
Overruled. You may answer.
Yeah, they did stop dancing.
Why?
Because there was a car that drove through.
There's cleaners right there. There's some water. There's also water. You may open one of those.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Ms. Gajewski, we're going to put up on the screen for you Exhibit 15, and with the court's permission, this has been received already. I'd ask to publish to the jury as well.
Permission granted.
Do you see the screen in front of you?
Yes.
Do you see a green box with names in it with the label Waukesha Extreme Dance underneath?
Yes.
Do you recognize the names in that green box?
Yes.
You see a black line connecting that green box to a yellow star?
Yes.
Can we scroll down a little bit? Do you recognize the neighborhood in this map?
Kinda, it's downtown.
Downtown Waukesha?
Yeah.
The yellow star that's connected to the Waukesha Extreme Dance names, is that an approximate area where you described the car hitting the girls?
Yeah, right before the 5 points.
Okay. We can take that down. Thank you. I'm now going to ask that we project onto the screen for the witness only exhibit number 33. Let me know when you see the screen in front of you.
I see it.
Okay. I'm going to ask you to just take as much time as you need, read all those names, and then describe for me what we're looking at.
It's the formation that the girls were in.
On the day of the parade?
Yes.
And does that accurately represent where each of those girls were in formation?
Yes.
And you've reviewed a diagram similar to this before your testimony, right?
Yes.
I would move Exhibit 33 into evidence and ask for permission to publish.
Before I allow that, if you could ask her about the non-labeled boxes.
Sure. You can see that there are some boxes on this diagram that don't have names in them, is that right?
Correct.
What do those boxes represent?
Who wasn't injured?
So, but those are people? Those are
Oh, yes.
members of the dance group?
Yes.
But to your knowledge, a box without a name is a person who wasn't hit?
Yes.
Okay. I'll renew my request at this point.
Objection. How is it legal to instruct the prosecution to ask a question that they should already know to ask?
Your objection is noted. It's overruled. Exhibit 33 is received and permission to publish is granted.
Okay, can you, Ms. Gajewski, can you explain for us what the colors mean in this exhibit?
So they're each different team. So the yellow is the elite team, the green is the junior team, and the blue is the mini team. And there is 2 teams behind that, but they didn't have a formation. And that's why only these 3 are on here.
Okay. You testified earlier that you were marching in order of age, so the elites were in the front of the group, right?
Yes.
So the parade route, if we were moving forward, it would be the bottom of this page, is that right?
Yeah.
Okay. Can we project for the witness only exhibit number 32, please?
Go ahead.
Let me know when you see something on your screen.
I see it.
Okay, we're going to play just a few seconds of this to see if you recognize it. Okay, we'll pause there. You played 19 seconds. Do you recognize this video?
Not this video.
Okay. Do you recognize the truck at
Yes.
this point that we stopped at?
Yep.
At 19 seconds?
Yeah.
What's the truck?
That's the truck that we had for Extreme.
During the Christmas parade?
Yes.
Did you recognize the people in front of the truck holding the banner?
Objection. The witness stated she doesn't recognize the video. How is it permitted?
Your objection is noted. It's overruled. She'll answer the question.
Could you say the question again?
Did you recognize the 2 people holding the banner in front of the truck?
Yes.
Were they affiliated with your group?
Yes.
Let's play a few more seconds just for the witness. And pause there. Pause at 27 seconds. Did you recognize the people coming into the screen from the left?
Yes.
Who are they?
Our dancers.
Okay. Does this video appear to be an accurate depiction of your group along the parade route during the Waukesha Christmas Parade?
Yeah.
You may answer.
Yes.
I move to admit exhibit number 32 and ask for permission to publish.
I'm sorry, Your Honor. Did you sustain that objection?
I didn't rule on it. Which objection?
That I just objected to?
It was overruled.
Are you making that decision now?
There's been a request by the state to receive Exhibit 32, Mr. Beck.
I objected.
All right, then your objection's noted. It's overruled.
On what grounds, Your Honor?
Exhibit 32 is received. The foundation has been laid, and permission to publish is granted.
On what grounds, Your Honor?
The record speaks for itself.
On what grounds, Your Honor?
You may play.
There's no audio with this video. We're going to play from the beginning.
How long is the video for the record?
It's 1 minute and 23 seconds.
Thank you.
Pause, please. We've paused at the 35-second mark. Ms. Gajewski, do you remember what you were wearing on your head, if anything at all, that day?
Yeah, I had a bright red hat on.
Do you see yourself in this, at the 35-second mark of this video?
Yes.
That's a touch screen in front of you. Can you use your finger and circle yourself? Okay. And we can clear that, please, Madam Clerk. And we'll resume at the 35-second mark. And we can take that down now. Thank you. So, Ms. Gajewski, well, let me just clarify. What did we see at the end of that video? You can take some time.
A car going through the parade.
Is that the same vehicle that you remember seeing that day?
Yes.
Do you recall where you were standing at the point that the vehicle started to go through your girls in relation to the rest of the group?
Yeah, in relation to the rest of the group. I was on the side that was with all the names, but I don't remember what stores I was by.
If you were standing in the middle of your group, were you on the left side or the right side?
Oh, she may answer.
Which way are we looking?
If you're walking down the parade route.
I'm looking towards the truck.
Yep.
I would be on the left side.
And you were towards the front?
Yes.
By the elite girls?
Yes.
Okay. I'm now going to ask that we put up for the witness only exhibit number 34. And before we get into questions about this exhibit, I'll go back and ask you about the video we just looked at, exhibit 32. After having watched that video just now in court, does it appear as though that diagram with the names that we looked at, exhibit 33, does it appear as though that diagram was an accurate depiction of where the named girls were positioned at the time the SUV came into the group?
Yes.
I'm sorry, what's the objection?
Hearsay.
Overruled.
Okay. So now,
Yes.
okay. So now we'll put up exhibit 34 for the witness, please. We're just going to play a few seconds to see if you recognize this. Let's do a few more seconds. Okay. Do you recognize this video?
Not the video, but
Do you recognize images from the video?
it's
Objection, hearsay.
Overruled. You may continue answering. I turned it off for the witness till they can finish.
okay.
Okay, I think we've got the rotation figured out here. We're going to play 5 or 10 seconds again for you, just to see if you recognize the video. Okay. Now do you recognize the video?
Yeah.
What does it show?
The car going through and someone flying.
Is that an accurate depiction of the scene as you saw it that day?
Mm-hmm.
You're saying she already stated she didn't recognize the video.
Mischaracterizes her testimony. Your objection overruled. It is not hearsay. You may answer. And if you did answer, if you could just repeat it.
Could you?
Is that video an accurate depiction of the scene as you saw it unfold that day?
Yes.
Your answer may stand. Thank you.
What was the answer?
Yes.
Move Exhibit 34 into evidence and request permission to publish.
Exhibit 34 is received. Permission to publish is granted.
We're going to play from the beginning. This is a 50-second clip. We're not going to play the whole thing. We're going to play from the beginning to about 12 seconds. We're going to turn the audio on. We've paused at 12 seconds. I'm going to ask that we go back to the beginning, slow it down to 30% speed. And we've turned the audio off. We're going to watch that same 12 seconds again. Pause. And I'm going to ask Ms. Gussie to go frame by frame. We paused at 1 second, by the way. Next frame. Next frame. One more. There. We're at a frame at 2 seconds. There's a figure on the bottom, on the left side of the screen, who appears to be wearing black with long hair. You recognize that person?
Yes.
Can you see any features
Mr.
in
Brooks, that's argumentative. Your objection's noted. It's overruled. You may answer.
hearsay? Objection for
Not
hearsay.
hearsay. You may answer.
Clear hearsay.
You may answer.
Yes.
Who is that person we're looking at?
Jesselyn.
Can you use the touchscreen in front of you and circle that picture? Circle Jesselyn, please. I'd ask to save the annotation as Exhibit 34A and to move it into evidence.
The annotation has been saved. Exhibit 34A is received.
Ms. Gajewski, when you say Jesselyn, are you referring to Jesselyn Torres?
Yes.
She was a member of your dance group?
Yeah, she was on the junior team.
We can take that down. I'm going to ask that we play Exhibit 35 just for the witness. And this is just 8 seconds long, so we'll play the whole thing to see if you recognize it, okay?
Okay.
Do you recognize that video?
Yes.
What does it show?
The car going through.
Through your dance group?
Yes.
Is that an accurate video depicting the events that day?
Yes.
Move Exhibit 35 into evidence and request permission to publish.
Objection.
Exhibit 35 is received permission to publish. Granted, your objection is noted for the record.
Again, this is 8 seconds long. We're going to turn the audio on for this video.
Objection still. Is the video, who even took the video? Is it relevant?
Sir, it's not an objection, it's a statement. We can ask questions later.
Not even a witness that took.
Go ahead.
So, Judge, before we begin, I have to step in here and request that Mr. Brooks be instructed to stop making comments under his breath. This witness is very clearly having an emotional and difficult time testifying, and she doesn't need to hear that.
Objection, she can't hear anything I'm saying.
Mr. Brooks, the mics are very good in this courtroom, so please refrain. All right, keep going.
Thank you. So we will begin at the beginning of this video. We'll play the whole thing with audio.
Just want to say one thing. To the extent that there are comments on this video, those comments are not being offered. I would instruct the jury to disregard those in terms of the evidence. It's the video that's important.
For the courtroom, actually. Exhibit 33, the diagram again. And we'd ask to publish for the jury.
Go ahead.
Can we zoom in on the top of the screen here? So, Ms. Gajewski, I'd like to work our way through this name by name based on your recollection of what you saw during the parade that day, okay? So let's start with the first person on the top right, Vivian Urell. You knew Vivian Urell before November 21st, right?
Yes.
And do you recall seeing her either while the SUV was driving through or after?
Objection, hearsay.
It's not hearsay. Overruled.
I saw her after, not during, because I was in the front.
Can you describe the circumstances when you saw her after?
Objection, hearsay.
Mr. Brooks, I'm going to direct your attention to review section 908.01. You have a statute book. Please do that. It's not hearsay. All right, go ahead.
Could you repeat the question?
Can you describe the circumstances of how you saw her and where afterwards?
Yeah, she was on the opposite side of the road, just like in a fetal position.
Did you have any interaction with her?
Yeah, I did. I went in a squad car with her to the hospital.
Which hospital?
I think it's called Waukesha Memorial.
Here in Waukesha?
Yeah.
Okay. And did you observe any injuries to her?
Yeah, she had road rash on her chin.
Okay. Next, I want to ask you about Mackenzie Hollingsworth, the first top right green square there. Did you see her as the SUV was coming through?
I didn't see her as the SUV. I saw her at the hospital.
Waukesha Memorial? Mm-hmm. Can you describe what she looked like?
Sorry, was that a yes? You just said, no. Was that a yes?
Yeah, sorry.
Thank you. That's okay.
Can you describe how she looked at the hospital?
Yeah, she was laying on the ground, and her mom was on her left side of her, and I was on her right, and I was holding her hand, trying to get her to squeeze my hand so she could like stay awake. But she was going in and out of consciousness. She was asleep, and then she would wake up sobbing, and it would just repeat.
I next want to ask you about Alice Urell, so the next green square down on that diagram. Did you see her as the SUV drove through?
I didn't see like her get hit because it was just a blur, but I saw her body on the ground right after. And she's the one that, the first person I saw.
Okay. And did you have any interaction with her after the fact?
Yeah, I picked her up as soon as her body was right in front of me. I just picked her up because I didn't know what was about to happen.
What did you think had happened at that point?
I didn't know. I didn't know if there was going to be just a bunch of cars. So I just wanted to get her out of the way.
You already testified about Jesselyn Torres. The Jesselyn Torres who's named in a green square there, is that the same Jesselyn Torres that you referenced when we watched Exhibit 34?
Yes.
Moving down the diagram, I'll ask you about Yuretsi Becerra Montes. You recognize that name?
Yes.
Did you see Yuretsi as the SUV came through the group?
I saw her after.
Where did you see her?
Behind the truck on the ground.
Which truck?
The same truck that was driving in front of all the girls.
That black pickup truck?
Yeah.
How close to the truck was she?
At the tailgate.
Was anybody else with her?
Yeah, I remember seeing her dad and her sister.
How did she appear to you in that moment? Health-wise?
Just in shock.
Moving down the list to Julia Schlickow, excuse me. Did you see Julia as the SUV was driving through the group?
I didn't see her as the SUV came through. I saw her at the hospital.
At Waukesha Memorial?
Yes.
How did she appear to you when you saw her at Waukesha Memorial?
She wasn't good.
Can you take a little bit of time and then tell us in a little bit more detail?
I was with Kenzie at the time, and at Waukesha Memorial there's a glass, wall window, and I saw Julia in a wheelchair by herself with, nurses around her, and she was kind of slunched over. She was in and out of consciousness as well, and so I ran over to her and told them her name, and they rushed her in the back because she was not doing well. And then when we got to the back, she started seizing and vomiting.
And you saw this while you were with Kenzie, as you said?
I saw Julia when I was with Kenzie, and then I left and went with Julia, and then we went in the back to a room, and that's when she started seizing and puking.
And just so we can keep the name straight, who's Kenzie?
Mackenzie Hollingsworth.
And moving further down the diagram towards the front, Sam Coelho. Recognize that name?
Yes.
Did you see Sam as the SUV went through the group?
I didn't see her with the SUV.
What about afterwards?
I didn't see her at the hospital either that night.
Okay. Do you remember providing a written statement with Detective Mandy Schwartz from the Waukesha Sheriff's Department shortly after this incident?
Yes.
I would ask that we project that statement for the witness only.
Go ahead.
We can go down to page 4, please.
This will need to be marked for identification. What would be your next number?
149, please.
All right, will be marked Exhibit 149.
Ms. Gajewski, do you see the screen in front of you?
Yes.
Let's scroll down a little further. All right, just to yourself silently, I'd like you to read from where it says saw another to the words so fast. Just read that silently. Let me know when you're done.
I'm done.
Okay. Do you remember writing that or approving that written statement when you met with Detective Schwartz?
Yes.
Okay. Do you remember now?
Hold on, you take that. We'll take that down.
Yeah, we can take that down, please. Sorry. Do you remember now talking about what happened to Sam?
I didn't see Sam. I only saw her dad.
Okay. And you didn't see her in the hospital afterwards?
Not that night, no.
Did you see her in the days following this incident?
Objection, overruling.
Overruled.
Brown.
Answer.
Yeah, as soon as the day she was able to have a visitor, I was there.
When you say visitor, what do you mean? Where was she?
Objection, irrelevant.
Overruled.
She was at Children's.
Children's Hospital?
Yeah.
Do you know why she was there?
They moved her there just due to her injuries.
And you know she was injured as a result of what?
Objection, hearsay.
Overruled. She may answer as to what her knowledge of the injuries were.
Yeah, she was there because she was struck.
Can you put Exhibit 33 back up for the jury and the witness, please?
I'm sorry, 30?
33, please, the
33,
diagram.
Go ahead.
So, Ms. Gajewski, there's two remaining names there on the diagram, Isabella Bartelt and Maddie Hollingsworth. Did you see either of them as the SUV went through the group?
I did not.
Did you see either of them in the immediate aftermath?
I did not.
Based on their position in that diagram and your review of the video evidence here in court, how would you describe their position in relation to the red SUV that went through the group?
If you're looking at the SUV, they were just to the left of it.
Okay. Do you know whether they were actually struck by the SUV?
I do not.
But based on their positioning, they would have been how close to the SUV, in your best estimate?
Just a couple feet.
You're not able to give an accurate estimate about how fast the SUV was traveling at that point, is that right?
I could.
Okay. Well, please, if you think you can, please tell us how fast do you think it was traveling?
Objection, hearsay.
Overruled.
I thought around 55.
The black truck that was part of your group, right? That was about the approximate speed of the rest of the parade?
Yeah.
And was the red SUV traveling faster than the black truck?
Yes.
Okay. That's all I have for direct examination, Your Honor.
All right, then we'll break for lunch. We'll continue with cross-examination after the lunch hour. Please rise for the jury. I can't see any of that.
Okay, I'll save it for.
be seated for one moment. You can step down if you would like, or you can stay. It's up to you. Mr. Brooks, I referenced this earlier, but you have a statute book, section 908.01, is the start of the statutes that deal with hearsay. It provides a definition of what it is. It goes through statements which are not hearsay. And it has a whole host of exceptions that are referenced in 908.03. So I just direct your attention to that because many of your hearsay objections, they're not hearsay at all, sir. And I hope you're not just saying them just to interpose an objection. But I think it would be very helpful if you were to familiarize yourself with that.
For the record, Your Honor, how do I know that the prosecution isn't objecting to anything based on the same assumptions?
I don't understand what you're saying.
A lot of
You have that
times,
statute book, so if you'd like to read the hearsay statute, start with 908.01, continue with 908.02, the rule, and 908.03 are all the exceptions, continues with 908.04. I realize you are not a lawyer, Mr. Brooks, but you still should have a good faith basis to make the objection and then not argue it with me when I rule on the objection. All right? The state will give its one word or statement. If it's self-evident to the court, I don't need the parties to even say much at all. But that's primarily why your objection is based on hearsay. There was one I sustained because it was in fact calling for hearsay.
a few of those
knowledge, hold on, when the witness is not asked to say what another person has said, assuming there's no exception that applies or it's just not hearsay under the rule, and they have otherwise personal knowledge about something, they can provide that answer. So I'm hoping that's helpful to you as you formulate your objections. Of course, I'll keep ruling on them. I just ask that when I rule on them, you not interpose the same objection before the witness has answered. When I say it's overruled, the person may answer, your objection stands, it's noted, it doesn't need to be said again.
I'm now informed. I don't understand how someone can testify to things being told in the hospital. They're not a family member, a parent, or anything. So how would they know what injuries someone would have? How would that information be disclosed to someone without being a parent or a direct relative? That would be hearsay.
So again, people can testify based on personal knowledge. What's hearsay is when it comes into court and they say, so-and-so told me. If they say, I was told, or, again, I think you're confusing personal knowledge with hearsay. So you can question people on how they knew that information, but you do that at your peril, because if you open the door for them to tell you how they know, then potentially hearsay is going to come in. So with that, I just wanted to give you that information. I can't obviously further explain to you, sir, other than to say ignorance of the law is not something you can use as a valid kind of defense, or you keep saying I don't understand.
I don't.
You did this of your own free will. You waived your right to an attorney, and the ignorance that you claim is not valid at this point, sir. So
I also altered that contract, Your Honor. You accepted the contract in the way that I sent it back to you. Now let's
sir,
be
we don't
fair.
have a contract together. The contract
We do
is
not.
being
You're right.
misapplied in this circumstance. All right, we are in recess. I'll see everyone. Let's be back at 1:30. Thank you, everyone.